Please stay tuned following this presentation for previews of other Barney home videos.
The Barney opening theme with its visuals is very stimulating, and something I used to I put hyperdrive in this script. It's something I used to hyperfixate on as a child for a variety of reasons. Continuity, shots being repurposed in interesting ways, and being absolutely terrified. So I want to pick apart the ones I grew up with for no reason and talk about them. A lot.
It sounds like we're in for some big fun!
So going back to being scared. It starts from frame 1 of the intro. Something about this logo has very ominous vibes, and I've always thought that, but could never point out if it was the logo itself or as a child me knowing what Barney eventually became, which was much friendlier looking. The way it was dead silent after popping the tape in and then it faded into just a still image of this logo had me ready to run out of the room immediately. I've also never really liked the shot of Barney in this original logo because the color he is, I'd imagine, is closer to what the costume actually looked like in person. But of course, we never got to fully experience that because the cameras couldn't pick up how strong that color was, leading him to look blue instead.
Why are you blue?
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong?
The random children silhouettes littered throughout, not matching any of the kids in the cast, also felt weird. Now what I did love was Barney coming to life in like 60 frames per second. That always fascinated me growing up. This shot from the intro also doesn't actually happen in the videos. It's a still photo that appears in the finale of the original trilogy of tapes that's just meant to show Barney being around in the backyard after the events of the video.
Just in time, your mom's coming.
It's important to at least be on the...
Them using still photos in this fashion would continue to be used in interesting ways, and I love it. What I did not love was how the song was sung.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and when he's tall, he's what we call a dinosaur sensation.
What are these kids shouting so hard for? This definitely contributed to that eerie feeling I first got experiencing this growing up, because it almost sounded like they're chanting.
Barney lives with Michael and with Amy, then you'll soon see little Tina tags along with her big sister Lucy.
The Backyard Gang lyrics are very personal to the series itself, introducing every cast member individually, and even added a slide for Sandy Duncan, and she sticks out like a sore thumb, which is hilarious.
But Mom has never seen him 'cause she doesn't know our secret.
The whole push of Mom doesn't know about Barney coming to life is such a real childlike thing to have as part of the series, and its prominence just in the intro lyrics itself is heartwarming. Now, a lot of things in this original intro are going to mean absolutely nothing when Barney gets redesigned in the next few tapes, but what they did here was fun.
Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make believe him.
Again, doing what I said earlier about repurposing still photos. When Barney winks at the end, the shot used is from the Backyard show tape, but with added effects thrown on top.
I love you, Barney. I love you too. You're a neat friend.
The general structure of this intro would remain throughout the next 10 or so years, establishing Barney as an imaginary friend, an interchangeable middle section, and then reinforcing Barney's importance and that he'll always be around if you pretend that he is. Now, Barney got redesigned because he was scaring the life out of children, so in response after these initial 3 tapes came out, they made 3 more tapes that made him even more scary looking, so by proxy that means we get a new intro and, man...
What?
Okay, what happened here? Something happened to the logo, but I still cannot put my finger on what. They zoomed out a bit, but his shade looks as if it were lightened some, and in some cases the shot of Barney himself looks different.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and when he's strong, he's what we call
It's a delightful taste sensation.
Barney in this logo is not the same as what they redesigned him to be for this next set of videos. They just didn't recreate it, which will be a common thing coming up. There's actually a lot of things they just didn't do this time around. For one thing, the opening shot of Barney coming to life never happens. It's a still image just like last time, but what's weird here is we never actually see him coming to life with this redesigned costume. The effect they use here is repurposed from the original trilogy, but does not get used at any point in the new videos. I never understood that. This shot specifically is taken from the second tape of the new trilogy, Campfire Sing-Along. This new set of videos stars mostly the same cast, and the lyrics in the theme song remain the same, but in context don't make much sense with the direction the series took.
Barney lives with Michael
Barney seemingly no longer lives with Michael and Amy anymore in this new set. Instead, we mostly see Tina in possession of the Barney plush. Didn't change that in the opening. Or maybe the redesigned Barney and the original one are different. But then again, they reference past events with this Barney. But Michael and Amy pulled Barney out of storage in the past videos. And here he's clearly Alright, how he show up in the chimney that one time? Okay, anyways, the whole thing about Mom having never seen him, that's still in the lyrics, despite Sandy Duncan not returning to reprise her role as Michael and Amy's mom, and us only seeing Tina's mom once, and Barney not appearing anywhere in reality to where she would have been able to see him anyways, only ever in dream sequences or them going to the North Pole from Michael's house. So since that plotline got abandoned and they couldn't use Sandy Duncan, instead, for whatever reason, they decided to use stock footage of the original Barney design in its place. What? I don't like this set of videos, so this intro doesn't do anything for me. The vocals and instrumentation were entirely redone and sounds less terrifying, but I mean, man.
Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make believe him.
Now what I do like is this set of videos was the first to introduce Bob Singleton to the production, a composer who made his mark in the Barney franchise with beautiful music and different signature contributions, such as the flute you hear in this intro that becomes very prominent in the future years of the series.
Thanks.
And also the snare drum, that loud snare drum, speaking of which... Our national anthem has risen. When Barney hit TV, all mentions of any gang was dropped. The series was renamed to Barney and Friends, and we get an all-new logo. Crisp, clean. Barney is drawn so different and strange. I love it. Him in front, leading a bunch of kids to the McDonald's down the street to get some chicken McNuggets. Dude, it's beautiful. The animation is super cute, especially the baby at the end that pulls their little rubber duck to the beat of the song.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and when he's tall, he's what we call a dinosaur sensation.
Lyric-wise and structure-wise, the song starts the same as before, it's just everything feels like it takes so much longer. The animatic feels very long, and then the kids crowding around Barney in the beginning lasts about as long as the first verse itself. They were gaining their footing, so it's fine. A lot of the first season was like that, so it makes sense.
Barney's friends are big and small, they come from lots of places. After school they meet to play and sing with happy faces.
They removed the entire bit where they introduced the main characters, the safest way allowing them to change the cast members if they ever needed. They learned that lesson the hard way when they had to re-record one of the Backyard Gang openings because one of the kids was sick. Hey yo, shout out to Jeffrey, the one-off character that nobody remembers.
Eric is in Barney's club and Jeffrey has a Barney shows us lots of things like how to play pretend, ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and how to be a friend.
You can really hear that flute going to work, or whatever that instrument is. If I'm wrong about that, please don't sound off in the comments. If I say flute, you know what I mean. That flute is such an important sound from my childhood. Bob Singleton defined the early years of Barney with that flute. It's used everywhere so brilliantly. Barney's actually noticeably more absent in the season 1 intro than he would be in future seasons, and even the Backyard Gang, which I thought was interesting.
Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him.
What a
Barney can be
wholesome
your friend
family.
too if you just make believe him.
Remember this shot right here, okay? Alright, season 2. Where the boy at? Is he coming or not? Oh shoot. So they don't start the animatic until the initial snare drum beat goes off this time, and I used to hyperfixate on that growing up for no reason at all. I used to pinpoint just what season my daycare sitter popped into the VCR based on how quickly it took for Barney and the kids to shoot out from the side of the screen.
This one has a little sweetness to it.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination.
We get that new crisp Barney plush doll, and the fact that they refilmed a new sequence for Barney coming to life unique to each new season was so refreshing. So much about these seasons aesthetic-wise were unique to themselves, so it only added to the charm. The lyrics in the middle section are the same and are made to be somewhat generic, but describing what generally would be taking place in a Barney and Friends episode, making sure to highlight the friendly nature and the series' core theme of imagination.
Like how to play pretend, ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and how to be a friend.
What I really enjoyed is how both the opening and closing lyrics remained exactly the same since the Backyard Gang, as those are the most integral pieces to the franchise.
Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make
See, this is what I mean. Why did they not change this ending shot? They clearly had a new plush by this point. We'll get into the whole tire swing thing in a little bit, but it's so jarring sometimes how they completely bypass continuity with something this different looking. Bro, season 3, dude.
What is that? What is that? Wait!
At the daycare I basically grew up at, we had lots of Barney tapes that were from seasons 1, 2, and 4, but only one of those tapes was from season 3, that being Making New Friends, the on-the-move episode of the show. So the season 3 intro stood out to me as something extra special, almost one of a kind, even though it definitely wasn't.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and when he's tall, he's what we call a dinosaur sensation.
Everything felt so much more vibrant and clean. Each season up to this point revamped the set in some way, and season 3 was no exception. Everything came off bigger and grander and brought a smile to my face whenever the tape would be popped in.
Like how to play pretend, ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and how to be a friend.
Also, the opening animatic was redrawn entirely and added this weird dance that to this day I've never understood, but they did it, I guess, to add some flair and an extra little something to help them hit the sound cue. Each season's intro up to this point would gradually improve when it came to using clips that fit with how the music played out, rhythm and all. Season 3, I feel, basically nailed this. It's so fresh. You also have to understand that season 2 aired in 1993, and immediately after, a lawsuit had taken place preventing the production team from using the I Love You song. That following year, Barney took a break from television to hold a live concert show in New York City, later released on home video, and a primetime NBC special also released later. So with season 3 coming in 1995, they had significantly more money to work with, and it shows just from the opening sequence itself.
Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make believe him.
Okay, so the tire swing. I've made an entire video about this, which will be in the description, but long story short, the tire swing first appeared all the way back in Barney and the Backyard Gang at Tina's house during the Barney Goes to School tape, which was essentially a backdoor pilot to Barney and Friends. It made its way into Barney and Friends as a set piece during the first season. Barney sat in the tire just as he did in the Backyard Gang. It would spring to life from it in the opening sequence. You'd often see him sitting in it during some episodes before the kids would use their imagination, and it just acted as a simple resting place for the plush doll. How this fits into the intro is that at the end of the episode, The Treasure of Rainbow Beard, the gang opens a chest they found, revealing a rainbow, and as they view it and ask Barney his thoughts, they notice Barney reverted back to his doll form in the tire swing, with a rainbow slowly forming over his head before he winks to us. The ending shot of the first 3 seasons is a reference to this moment. Barney winking towards the camera has been a thing from the very beginning. First visualized as an actual wink, before being changed to a twinkle over his eye, possibly meant to emphasize that he's still just a plush toy and not a sentient doll. The purpose is to accentuate the fact that he's an imaginary friend and not at all real. The kids pretend he's around, which is represented by him coming to life, and after the day's adventures, they realize they'd only been playing pretend the whole time and that he's always just been a plush, but the wink is aimed more so towards the audience, almost as if to say, I was actually here the whole time, but you just used your imagination. Where this gets strange and interesting is that the tire swing shot in the intro was always vital in hitting the sound cue at the end of the song. It was basically perfect, but realistically they'd have had to recreate it after the first season, being that the set from season 2 removed the swing entirely. Realizing how important this was, they decided to keep it in. This is why the season 2 intro just reuses the same shot with the original Barney doll instead of the new one. And then in season 3, the swing is still gone, but they digitally edited a new one together with the new plush instead. You can tell because the background behind the swing is different, and you can actually see leaves moving around behind it too. It doesn't stop there though. After season 3 and before season 4, Barney released a bunch of home videos of just new separate adventures at the school and otherwise, and used the season 3 aesthetic and branding, just re-editing the middle portions of the intro with new material from the individual outings.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and when he's tall, he's what we call a dinosaur sensation.
I've always enjoyed this as it made each of these new tapes feel unique in some way, despite reusing the same branding as before. Now it gets kinda weird when the show revamps the set and Barney plush doll again before season 4 actually starts, because at that point the music and everything also sees an overhaul, but the home videos are still coming out using the old branding, including the tire shot, despite the season 4 plush doll being entirely different.
Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make believe him.
Look, man, I love the Barney intro. I remember growing up, sometimes I would just put in tapes just to hear the intro and then turn it off because something about it just made me so happy inside. The music is so overjoyous. It's bright, it's colorful, all the rhythm and the clips used and I loved everything about it. Rainbows are also really huge with me, so like anytime I see a rainbow, it just makes me really happy. And it always just reminded me of how much I love Barney. I don't necessarily know how to end this video. I just want to thank you all for watching however long you've watched this for. If you're new to the channel, I am a Barney historian. I've made lots and lots and lots of videos about Barney, his history of production, the seasons, all kinds of stuff. Check them out in the description. I would love for you guys to subscribe and look to see all the different things that we have on the channel. Hope you can find something you love, and for everyone that's been here, thank you all for still being here. I appreciate you all, and there's more things to come this year I'm very excited about. Thank you guys for watching this, again, very long, meticulous video. And as always, thank you guys for boarding my rainbow line. I'll see you guys at the next stop. See you. Alexander, Amanda, Austin, Autistic Disney, Chaco, Daniel, Emilia, Gwen, Helen, Ian, Jake, Luke, Manny, Matt, Prima Donna, Thomas.